It is Meiji Year 5, 1872, 5 years after KO Year 3, 1867, when the Tokugawa shogunate officially handed all political power back to the emperor, marking a new age of Japan, captured by this one beautiful scene as Natsu and Zenji walk by Jinya and Nomari. We are introduced with many new characters, a new lifestyle, new enemies, and getting closer and closer to Suzune's whereabouts. One of the episode's biggest themes is another one of those fairy tales that involves twin Shizukas. It's a real life nod to Zaomi Motekyo's No Play, which will reveal the duality between Jinya and Suzune's character arcs. It's a story meant to be metaphorical for Jinya and Suzune's path in life, involving loyalty, rebellion, and being true to oneself. It's a story meant to show how Jinya and Suzune are forever bonded by a tragedy of the past, while still trying to create a new life moving forward. And we will revisit this shortly. Jinya now lives in Kyoto with Nomari, even though Jinya left Edo. Demons are a growing issue in Kyoto, like what Akitsu Somegoro mentioned 5 years prior in KO Year 3. Jinya cuts down the 2 demons and sky edges another. Before one of the demons perished, it mentioned the name Magatsume. This isn't the only time Jinya has encountered such a name, and it's likely the demon leader Somegoro heard rumors about. The girl Jinya saved from the demons is named Himawari. Of course, she's named Sunflower to add more layers to the story, but an odd thing about her personality is how respectful she seems to be, as she just turns 8 this year. Jinya mentions that Nomari is just a year older, and he turns 50. Apparently, Himawari got separated from her mother, but she knows how to get back from Nishioji. And so, Jinya accompanies her back home. And it flashes forward to Jinya owning his own soba shop. And guess what it's called? Oni Soba! Dude really jacked Ofu's restaurant name. He set up shop quick, as Demon Soba has been up for 5 years. Now he has some friendly business owners next door who has only set up shop for a year. We have a new location, new friends, but I guess the soba never leaves. Now it just needs to be flavorless, and it'll be just like Soba Sadanaga's. With new, older number 1 daughter and number 1 dad still having the most loving relationship ever, Nomari looks really settled in, and is even going to school and has a friend named Nanako. How sweet. Since the age of the samurai is over, Jinya can get arrested for carrying around his sword. And also, instead of just Jinya, he goes by Kadono Jinya. As Jinya is getting ready to close up shop, look who shows up that Jinya is always teasing. Akitsu Somegoro, who points out that he was the one that helped him set up shop and everything, so he owes him some food. However, he did just suddenly show up at closing, and that's a no-no in any time period. Somegoro brings along what looks like the next generation of Sumogami Shaman Akitsus with Heikichi, and what's this kid's deal? Demons like Jinya. But Somegoro points out that even though demons delve straight into the emotional abyss, there are still good ones compared to the bad. And it's just human etiquette to treat people the way that they treat you. While Somegoro has to mentor this youngin', he also brought along what looks to be trouble with this mean looking lady, whose master was good friends with Akitsu, and she too holds a katana. What's her name? Kaneomi. This takes us back to what we know about there being 4 cursed demon swords, where Jinya defeated Sugino Matoroku to steal his Sky Edge ability. Jinya provides some backstory about Kaneomi being from the Sengoku era, and that sword is indeed one of the 4 cursed Yatanomori Kaneomi swords. And so Kaneomi has a job for Jinya by the Kamogawa River at the Gojo Ohashi Bridge. There's a demon that keeps appearing at night called Jishibari. Kaneomi wishes to capture it. Something about stealing something from her that she would like to retrieve. Apparently, the demon looks just like her, and that naturally leads us to another flower symbol of twin Shizukas. They are white flowers that grow in the shadows of the fields and mountains. They look similar to another flower that is just named Shizuka, but the twin Shizukas have 2 stalks instead of 1. Kaneomi gets a giggle out of it because a dude into flowers is sus. Thanks, Ofu. From the flower perspective, the 2 stalks can mean Jinya and Suzune's connection to the same traumatic event, besides their blood relation. they've essentially been living two separate lives. While it looks like Suzune is always doing nefarious activities behind the scenes, Jinya is out here carving out a life where he can accept a somewhat peaceful life while hunting down demons and Suzune. Kaneomi gave us the okidoke because she was actually talking about the No Theater play by Zaomi Motokiyo. It's a story of a woman from the Kate shrine in Yoshino that gathers offerings for the altar, but gets possessed by the ghost of Shizuka Gozen. The ghost is kinda freaky and makes her dance in front of the Shinto priest in front of a shrine. Because of the possession, she's able to dance just like the ghost did, but it gets spookier as a ghost of Shizuka Gozen appears to be dancing right behind her. Kaneomi points out that the woman should have been released from her possession at that point, but still continued to dance. Your boy had to do a little bit of digging to get more background info on the Shizuka Gozen. To put it simply, Shizuka Gozen was a lover of a famous general that got captured by an enemy. She was forced to dance in front of this enemy, but danced in defiance and loyalty for her lover. Her spirit possessing another woman is basically showing the restlessness of her grief of being used as a pawn of another, but still displaying her utmost loyalty to her lover. It's that point in time that her spirit stays connected to, that can be contagious to other people who may have similar experiences. It'll make even more sense as to how this ties into these upcoming characters in Himawari and Jishibari. With that riddle swirling in our minds, they finally run into Kaneomi's demon double, Jishibari. She is ordered to hunt humans down by Magatsume, but she doesn't necessarily serve this person. This Magatsume character is further feeding into the mystery that is actually Suzune, because Jishibari just blatantly reveals that she knows about Jinya. Jishibari meaning bindweed, and so she fights with the power of summoning chains. So Jinya uses his dart ability and Sky Edge. He whacks off one of her arms. Then Himawari appears to reveal who she really is, the older sister of Jishibari, both daughters of Magatsume. And the demons earlier, more like her servants than enemies. Even though there was a gross misunderstanding, she felt a sense of happiness that he did come to save her, which is like a layer of character development that we need to hold on to for her character. Looks like we getting a double team of Lali and fake Kaneomi after Himawari whispers their next moves to capture Jinya. Jishibari releases her chains, but Kaneomi seems to be more in danger, and so he goes after her to protect her, revealing to Himawari what kind of person Jinya is. This gives Jishibari an opening to restrict both Jinya and Kaneomi's legs with her chains that seem to be invisible. Now, one of his arms is tied up as well. Look at this amazing animation of just the panel of a bridge. With Jinya and Kaneomi about to be on the brink of losing, Jinya goes full Mosuke and turns invisible, leading him to deliver another boot to the body for the face full of damage. Himawari stops the fight before Jishibari gets yeeted, but Jinya isn't just gonna allow the bad guys to run away so easily, but he does. So we have one character with the ability to summon chains to attack you and bind you, and it looks like those invisible chains are still bounded to Jinya, and we have another character with an unknown skill set. Both want to capture Jinya for an undisclosed reason, but our assumptions will always lead us back to Suzune. Kaneomi. She was freaking useless and totally got in the way. At this point, she's definitely only there to be waifu bait. And it's also pretty surprising that she didn't get yeeted by Jishibari already, since this wasn't her only encounter with her. And the fact that she doesn't have those invisible chains makes her super sus. And so, it's another day at Onisoba. Nomari comes home happy to spend time with her dad, only for Kaneomi of all people getting in her way with another bowl of shrimp soba. Wait a minute, she's living with Jinya? She has a point that Jishibari and Himawari will likely come after him at some point, so being near him and still paying for his services is reasonable. But is she going to steal daddy time away from Nomari? As Nomari gets jealous of her dad's time getting stolen away from her, the invisible chains are still attached to his arm and leg, where Himawari can see him from afar and starts to feel a bit annoyed with Nomari's closeness to Jinya, which leads to the big reveal that Suzune is indeed Magatsume. And if you just watched the outro lately, you would have been spoiled a long time ago. With Suzune revealed here, and Himawari and Jishibari The story of Shizuka Gozen makes a bit more sense in terms of possession. While we haven't learned about Himawari and Jishibari's past trauma, the Shizuka Gozen possession metaphor essentially tells us that it is a shared trauma between them, all three of them. Suzune's connection to that one tragic incident, with the duality of her grief and loyalty towards Jinya, is now a shared experience to those that feel similar. This is 2 times now that Himawari points out her feelings to something familial. And this can honestly turn into a long essay video exploring Shizuka Gozen and how it ties into our MC and villain. But hopefully in future episodes, as we learn more about Himawari and Jishibari, it would make a lot more sense then. So guys, this is pretty much my interpretation of what the Shizuka Gozen story represents for Jinya and Suzune, and we have a host of a bunch of new characters that we need to get into as we start to learn more about Jinya's new journey in Kyoto, 5 years after the last episode. So yeah guys, if you guys enjoy my recap and commentary, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, check out my blog at otakusen.com, check out my previous videos on the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity and Sword of the Demon Hunter, and check out my main channel where I'm covering free rent. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.